It wasn't just a bad day in court. It was a mutiny. It is the nightmare scenario Prince Harry never saw coming. One moment, he was the righteous accuser, ready to burn down the British tabloids. The next, his own legal team was reportedly jumping ship, leaving the Duke of Sussex isolated, exposed, and facing a humiliating ultimatum from the High Court. What we are witnessing in London is not a legal battle. It is a spiraling disaster. Harry believed he was leading a moral crusade against associated newspapers. But sources now reveal that his case is collapsing right before our eyes. Why? Because the judge has issued a stern warning that has shattered the Duke's confidence. And more importantly, his key lawyers, the star quarterbacks of his defense, have walked off the field mid-game. They saw the writing on the wall. They saw the evidence that Harry tried to hide. Do not click away, because in the next few minutes, we are going to reveal the smoking gun that caused this mass exodus. We will expose the single piece of evidence, a simple party invitation that proves Harry's narrative is not just flawed, but potentially fabricated. And we will ask the question everyone is whispering: where is Meghan? The trial has started, the defense is crumbling, and the truth is about to come out. To understand why Harry's legal team reportedly saw the writing on the wall, we have to look at the specific allegations that turned this trial into a disaster. Prince Harry stood before the court and made sweeping accusations of illegal activity and conspiracies against associated newspapers. He specifically targeted two prominent royal journalists, Rebecca English of the Daily Mail and Katie Nicholl, accusing them of criminal behavior to dig up dirt on his life. Harry painted a picture of himself as a hunted animal, constantly stalked by these faceless villains who used shady tactics to invade his privacy. But then, the defense team stood up and dropped a bombshell that sucked the air right out of the room. They didn't just deny the claims, they produced a receipt. The spotlight turned to Harry's accusation against Katie Nicholl. The Duke claimed she was a sneaky snoop who illegally gathered information about him. But the defense revealed a smoking gun from 2011 that shattered this narrative instantly. They presented evidence that Katie Nicholl wasn't stalking Harry in the bushes. She was actually inside the exclusive Kensington Roof Gardens, sipping cocktails at a private party, because Harry invited her himself. Let that sink in. The defense argued that not only did Harry invite this criminal journalist to party with him, but they also stayed in touch and ran in the same social circles for years afterwards. The defense's rebuttal was blunt and humiliating. "No, Harry, you invited me to come and party with you." This revelation is devastating. It completely undermines his victim narrative. You cannot invite a journalist into your inner sanctum, drink champagne with them, and then 10 years later sue them for intrusion just because you have changed your mind. This evidence suggests that what Harry calls harassment was actually a symbiotic relationship. It paints a picture not of a criminal conspiracy, but of a celebrity who played the game when it suited him. It suggests that Harry has a personal vendetta against people he once considered acquaintances. The court suddenly saw a very different reality. This isn't a clear-cut case of criminal harassment. It is a complicated, messy relationship that Harry is now trying to rewrite. And as this party lie was exposed, the lawyers on Harry's bench realized something terrifying. Their client's version of history was crumbling under the weight of his own past actions. When the party evidence landed, the shockwaves didn't just hit the public gallery. They shattered the confidence of the men and women paid to defend the prince. This brings us to the most damning development of the entire trial: the lawyers' revolt. In a move that stunned legal analysts, key members of Harry's legal team have reportedly jumped ship and resigned. We need to be very clear about what this means. In the world of high-stakes litigation, lawyers do not simply walk away from a client like the Duke of Sussex. Prince Harry is a whale client, a source of immense prestige, and theoretically, billable hours. For a top-tier solicitor to resign in the middle of a case, something catastrophic must have happened behind closed doors. Insiders describe this not as a simple reshuffling, but as a strategic retreat. It is the equivalent of your star quarterback walking off the field mid-game. Why did they leave? Legal experts suggest the answer lies in a concept known as unsustainable instructions. In the British legal system, solicitors have an overriding duty to the court, not just the client. They cannot knowingly present false information or pursue a line of argument that has been proven factually incorrect by the evidence. When the defense produced proof that Harry was partying with the very journalists he accused of criminal stalking, his legal team likely faced a crisis of conscience. One legal analyst noted that when solicitors walk away like this, it is because they think their client's instructions are unsustainable or the evidence has completely fallen apart. Basically, they looked at the party evidence, looked at Harry's demands to keep fighting, and realized the case was a sinking ship. They chose to protect their professional reputations rather than go down with the captain. They are not abandoning the law. They're abandoning Harry's version of events. This resignation is effectively a vote of no confidence. They are signaling to the world that even they, the people paid to believe him, no longer believe he can win. The visual impact of this abandonment in the courtroom was stark. Without his star defenders, Prince Harry appeared miserable and diminished. Witnesses described him looking like a little kid in a suit that's too big for him. The defiant energy he used to project in interviews was gone, replaced by the look of a man who realizes he is completely alone. He looked stressed, older. He is no longer the commander of a legal army. He is a stranded soldier whose allies have fled the battlefield. But the most painful absence wasn't his lawyers. As Harry sat there, facing the ruin of his credibility and the collapse of his crusade, observers couldn't help but notice another empty chair. Where was the person who encouraged this war? Where was the partner who promised they would face everything together? The silence from Montecito is deafening, and it suggests a betrayal far more personal than a lawyer's resignation. While Prince Harry sits in a gloomy, wood-paneled courtroom in London, watching his legal team disintegrate, there is another story unfolding 5,000 miles away. It is the story of the person who is not there. Throughout this entire ordeal, the silence from Montecito has been deafening. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, is an ocean away. There are no public displays of support, no holding his hand as he walks into court. Nothing. For a couple who built their entire global brand on the US against the world narrative, two palm trees connected at the bottom, her absence screams volumes. Harry moved his family across the world to protect them. He burned bridges with his father and brother to stand by his wife. But now, when he is standing alone facing the music, he is truly alone. Observers have noted that this feels like a strategic retreat. Meghan is a master of PR. She knows optics better than anyone. Sources suggest she is distancing herself from this mess. She likely sees what the lawyers saw. This case is a loser, and she has clearly decided that this is Harry's battle to fight and maybe to lose. This Montecito silence highlights a brutal reality for Harry. He is caught between two worlds: the world he was born into, which he claims rejected him, and the world he built with Meghan, which doesn't seem to be supporting him now. He looks despondent and miserable, missing the defiant energy he usually draws from her presence. Without his partner, his fortress of solitude has been revealed to be just that, solitary. The empty chair where Meghan should be sitting is converging with the judge's warning to create a crushing pressure on the Duke. Before we discuss the hypocrisy that this trial has exposed, I want to take a moment to connect with you, our community. It is easy to get lost in the drama of kings and courts, but I hope that in your own lives, you and your loved ones are finding peace and good health. We are broadcasting this investigation from the heart of the newsroom, but I am always curious to know where our Legacy's Edge family is watching from. Are you tuning in from the busy streets of New York, the sunny coast of Australia, or perhaps a quiet town in the UK? Please formally state your city and country in the comments below. It is a privilege to have you with us as we uncover the truth. Back to the strategy or lack thereof. Meghan was often seen as the architect of their media strategy. But here, there is no strategy left to execute. The courtroom doesn't care about narratives or Netflix documentaries. It cares about cold, hard facts. Harry tried to transplant the dynamics of a royal feud, where you can just release a statement and control the story into a court of law. But in court, you face cross-examination. And without Meghan there to manage the image, Harry is being forced to confront a version of his own history that he cannot control. He is fighting a war he cannot win, and the general who helped plan the battle is nowhere to be found. This isolation leads us directly to the core problem of Harry's entire case. It isn't just that he is alone, it is that the very premise of his lawsuit contradicts the life he has been living for the past 4 years. He is suing for privacy while selling it. If the party evidence destroyed Harry's credibility, then the sheer hypocrisy of this trial is destroying his reputation. We have reached the point in the script that legal analysts call the Hypocrisy Trap. Prince Harry is standing in the High Court, demanding accountability from publishers for unlawful information gathering. He claims he is fighting for the principle of privacy, but the defense, and indeed the rest of the world, is asking a devastatingly simple question. How can you sue for the invasion of privacy while you are simultaneously selling it? The irony is dripping off this case. We are talking about a man who has made millions airing his dirty laundry on Netflix. He and Meghan built a freaking empire on their personal story, selling documentaries, books, and podcasts that revealed far more private information than any tabloid ever managed to steal. He is suing newspapers for digging into his life, yet he voluntarily sold the intimate details of his life to the highest bidder. This contradiction is what the defense is exploiting with ruthless efficiency. They are effectively arguing that Harry doesn't actually hate the invasion of privacy. He hates not getting paid for it. He doesn't want privacy. He wants a monopoly on his own exploitation. When a newspaper publishes a story about his life, he calls it harassment. When he publishes a story about losing his virginity or fighting with his brother in a best-selling memoir, he calls it speaking his truth. It is a double standard that insults the intelligence of the public. As one commentator noted, you can't complain about the press when you're literally using the press to make money. This hypocrisy leads to a deeper issue that has emerged in court: the rewriting of history. The defense argues that Harry is trying to rewrite history to make himself look better. He is trying to pretend that he was always a victim, always hunted. But the evidence of him inviting journalists to parties suggests he was an active participant in the whole media game when it benefited him. He used the press to boost his profile when he was a working royal, and now he is using the courts to punish them for doing their job. It suggests that at the very least, a complicated relationship, not some clear-cut case of criminal harassment. The public jury, the everyday people watching this unfold, are seeing right through this. People are savvy. They see through the BS. They do not like being lectured on ethics by a prince who attacks his own family for profit. Harry's attempt to frame this as good versus evil has failed because he has shown that his own hands are not clean. He looks bitter, entitled, and completely out of touch. He is playing a game like it is still the 1990s, thinking he can just cry invasion of privacy and everyone will automatically side with the poor little prince. But the world has moved on, and while Harry is losing the moral argument, he is also facing a very tangible, very scary reality. This crusade isn't just costing him his reputation, it is about to cost him a fortune, because when you lose a case like this, you don't just walk away, you get the bill. While the moral cost of this trial is high, the financial cost is potentially catastrophic. For our American viewers, it is crucial to understand a key difference in the British legal system. In the US, usually, each side pays their own lawyers regardless of who wins. But in the UK, they follow the English rule: the loser pays. If Prince Harry loses this case, and with the party evidence and his lawyers quitting, that outcome looks increasingly likely, he does not just walk away with a bruised ego. He could be on the hook for a ton of money. We are not talking about pocket change. We are talking about the legal fees for some of the most expensive lawyers in London. Harry has to pay his own team the star quarterbacks who just walked off the field for the work they have already done. But if he loses, he will also be forced to pay the legal bills for associated newspapers. And make no mistake, the publisher has hired a formidable defense team that charges premium rates. Legal analysts estimate the combined costs could run into the millions of pounds. This is a financial abyss that is opening up right beneath the Duke's feet. This leads us to the grim reality of the Montecito lifestyle. Harry and Meghan left the royal family to become financially independent. They succeeded by selling every intimate detail of their lives to the highest bidder. They made millions from the memoir and the Netflix documentary. But those were one-time paydays. The Spotify deal has already collapsed. The California dream of effortless wealth is looking pretty distant right now. Running a mansion in Santa Barbara, paying for private security, and funding a transatlantic legal war requires a constant, massive stream of liquidity. Harry is currently burning through cash to fight a battle that his own lawyers seemingly no longer believe in. This is what economists call the sunk cost fallacy. Harry has invested so much money and emotional energy into this war that he feels he cannot stop, even though continuing is irrational. He is obsessed with proving himself right, even if it means destroying himself in the process. He is gambling his fortune and potentially his children's financial future on a vendetta that is backfiring. The irony is cruel. The money he is using to pay for this lawsuit likely came from selling his family's secrets. Now, that money is being funneled into the pockets of lawyers, only for him to potentially lose and pay the very newspapers he hates. Furthermore, the resignation of his legal team sends a signal to the financial world as well. Lawyers are pragmatic. If they thought there was a massive settlement check coming at the end of this rainbow, they would likely stay. The fact that they have jumped ship suggests they know there is no pot of gold. There is only a bill. Harry wanted to bankrupt the tabloids. Instead, he is in danger of bankrupting himself. He is a prince without a palace, a litigant without a lawyer, and soon he may be a millionaire without his millions. As the judge prepares to make his final ruling on whether this case can even proceed, Harry faces a terrifying bottom line. Fame and fortune don't buy you happiness. And in the High Court of London, they certainly don't buy you a victory when the evidence is against you. Harry is in a mess of his own making, and unlike in the past, there is no royal bank of Pa to bail him out. Ultimately, what we are witnessing in London is more than just a legal defeat. It is a profound cautionary tale. Prince Harry wanted to be the dragon slayer of the British media. He wanted to prove that his truth was the truth. But he forgot a simple lesson that we all learn eventually. Fame and fortune don't buy you happiness, and they certainly don't buy you a verdict in a court of law. By refusing to walk away and live his life in peace, Harry has allowed his obsession to destroy the very credibility he tried to protect. This is a tragedy of ego. The courtroom does not care about your feelings. It cares about cold, hard facts. Harry tried to play the victim card in a room full of lawyers, and he found out the hard way that you cannot rewrite history when there are receipts. He is now in a mess of his own making, and it doesn't look like he is getting out of it anytime soon. He wanted to be a warrior. Instead, he looks like a man who has painted himself into a corner and is lashing out at the walls. Now, the final judgment belongs to you, the jury of public opinion. Given the evidence of the parties and the resignation of his legal team, what should the judge do? I want your verdict. Type "drop it" if you think the judge should throw the case out immediately to stop the waste of time. Type "pay up" if you think Harry should be forced to pay every cent of the legal fees for dragging this out. If you appreciate a channel that isn't afraid to expose the uncomfortable truth behind the headlines, please smash that like button right now. It helps us keep the lights on and the investigations running. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Legacy's Edge and ring the bell. Because when the final bill for this financial abyss arrives, you will want to be here to see who pays it. The lawyers have left the building. I'll see you in the next video.